Ashley. I'm Ashley. The swamp cooler is being really loud because of the rain. And Tiny Human is in the bedroom, but we'll see if he stays in there or not. So anyway, good morning. I'm doing my best. I know I haven't been very present over here. Life has been crazy-ish. Okay, here we go. We're using the Light Series Tarot today. First 3 cards out. Queen of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, and the 8 of Swords. We are releasing ourselves from any sort of mental prisons. Hell yeah. That can be anything, right? That can be like traditions, cultural beliefs, societal beliefs. Maybe you're having a big shift in consciousness because of the way that things are going right now. Maybe you're seeing things more clearly, whatever that is. Finding balance. The Wheel of Fortune is all about karmic retribution, about, receiving what we've given, right, out into the universe, whether it's good or bad or whatever it is. As the Wheel of Fortune turns, that's what we get back. Queen of Wands is all about that mental stability. Spiritual, mental is swords. I always get those two mixed up. So we have spiritual liberation. Wheel of Fortune, that balance of light and dark within ourselves, releasing ourselves from this feeling bound. It's all mental energy. Maybe just finding balance within your mental and spiritual energy as well. Justice flying out. We have the Moon, we have the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Swords, the Tower, the High Priestess. We have the Three of Pentacles, which continues to come out. It's about conscious connections. I always see it as a caution, but that's because I've been fucked over immensely in my life. King of Wands, King and Queen of Wands. So there could be a spiritual connection coming into fruition or into the 3D realm. Oh my god, hang on. I gotta move this. Okay. Heck it's. Alright. 4 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, and Queen of Pentacles. So I feel like there's justice coming in for you, the viewer. Maybe you've been through a few tower moments. I think it does take a few tower moments to get out of this kind of energy. Tower moments aren't necessarily scary, but they are usually pretty urgent, unexpected changes, right? And sometimes it can be bad stuff. A lot of readers see tower moment as a negative. Nothing is negative or positive, it just is, right? It's how you decide to navigate through it that's going to bring in that negative or positive information or situation, right? We have the 4 of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. So this is talking about very much having to penny pinch, having to hold on tightly to your material. But going to the Queen of Pentacles, look at her. She's like, I'm good. So that's amazing. So that progression could be happening, and maybe that's where you had to get at this spiritual level. Tarot is just a tool to talk to us about our aspects of life, our mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical beings, right? So maybe we are on this spiritual journey to find this balance between masculine and feminine within our spiritual path. The masculine energy represents the ability to do, action, expansion, and be feminine within our lives, right? We all have masculine and feminine within us. The feminine is more about nurture, receiving, creativity, nurture. I already said nurture, right? Okay, nurture wanted to come out a few times. Anyway, so not only is that nurturing others around us or, our creative projects or whatnot, but it's also about nurturing yourself first and foremost. As a single mother, I have to nurture myself. I have to feed into the things that I find passion in, and joy in. Otherwise, I will not be a sustainable pillar for my family, right? So finding that balance of being and doing. And this has nothing to do, on this spiritual path at least, it has nothing to do with societal constructs of masculine and feminine, right? Which, if you're paying attention to the conversations the collective is having, it's a pissing fight between men and women about roles right now, which is just barbaric and backwards. We've already graduated from that as a collective. And so to be back in that space, it's that wheel of fortune of like, why are we revisiting things that we've already graduated from? Well, it's because people are being brainwashed by really insecure people, right? So we have the moon, which does represent depth, right? Not necessarily shadow, but depth. And we also have that balance of the wolves up here. There's a cultural belief, I believe it's Native American, that everyone has a white wolf and a black wolf within them. And again, it's just speaking to that balance, that finding that balance between your light and your dark energies, doing the shadow work, accepting yourself for who you are, what you've done, and what you've been through, and seeing those as teachers instead of burdens, right? Oh God, I should chase that chicken down the alley. I love chasing the chickens. They're so funny when they run. You may be in this moment of finding others who have similar visions or goals. I think that's, if we ever want to achieve true justice at a collective level, culturally, society-wise, it's going to take conscious collaborations. It's going to take people coming together and making shit happen, right? We do have the High Priestess here, which is the feminine aspect of the spiritual journey in the major arcana. So this is someone who has access to other realms and dimensions, someone who is able to do magic. Whatever connotation you have about magic, whether it's Harry Potter or Halloween Town, I don't know, whatever it is that you think about when you hear the word magic, maybe do some introspection work around that, because I think that most of the time it is such a far-fetched idea, Hollywood-wise, right? Like, people just can't comprehend being able to really do magic, but magic is very real, and magic on this plane of existence is it's a partnership with nature, I guess. I mean, magic is a partnership with nature. So maybe that's even the conscious collaboration. Maybe you're just going to be more conscious about the way that you exist outside in your environment with nature. Maybe you're going to start an herb garden. I really suck at doing shit like that. I tried so hard this year, but my shit sucked. So maybe, for the northern hemisphere, we are entering winter. So maybe you want to do like a little herb garden inside or something like that. I don't know. But herbs are a good way to start practicing magic. Even just acknowledging the plants, the life cycle of a plant. I've been doing that a lot this year. And it's helped me a lot ground. It's helped me ground a lot. That was a weird sentence. Alright, we have the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords, finding a balance between our emotional and mental energy. Right? Yes. So not letting either run away with the other, right? Whatever is bringing us fulfillment in an emotional level or stimulating us mentally, finding a balance between those two, not allowing one or the other to go too far. We're going to stay balanced here. And I think spiritually speaking, finding that balance between your mental, or between your masculine and your feminine, is going to support this balance between your mental and emotional, right? Again, it's all about balance. So if you're feeling unbalanced, do some inventory, try to figure out where the imbalance is, right? Where is the overthinking? What are we overthinking about? And allow yourself to identify it, but not attach to it. And then be like, okay, now that I've identified it, I can let it go, right? And that's part of this wheel, letting things go, letting the wheel turn. Okay? And lastly, we have the Ten of Cups, which is like happily ever after. So this spiritual path could be about a divine union. The King and Queen of Wands could be a divine union. I know most tarot readers get to a love story when they're doing tarot. I'm the opposite, but with the Ten of Cups here and a matched pair here, it very much could be about your divine union coming in, if that's something that you've been asking for, manifesting, working with, right, the universe about. You could be meeting that. Now, this is speaking to something much bigger than just a romance story. This is about two people coming together, a conscious connection. I know this has three people, but maybe there's a child involved, or maybe there's some sort of, what's this word? What is this word? Maybe there's some sort of, oh my god, it's right there, I can't. No, this is not, there's one word, but I can't come up with it, so I'm gonna have to use more words. Maybe there's just some sort of, maybe there's a baby daddy or a baby mama or some sort of family, not really support, it's not like a nuclear family, but anyway, with this three, there's something else that's probably bringing injustice. So amongst the pairing, if there is a divine if there is a divine union, this is about justice at a world level, right? The Wheel of Fortune often comes out with the world. The world is about recognizing, our place in the ecosystem, our place in society, community, family, right? So from like a macro to micro level, what our role is, especially in these times when everything is so uncertain, and things are happening the way that they are, right? Justice, these divine unions coming in together, if this is part of your story, the masculine collective is still in a toxic state. They are not in their divinity at this point in time at a collective level. Obviously, if you pay attention to the internet or anything, there is a progression of people, men, masculines, waking up. But there's still a lot of disgust, disregard for the feminine. Not just women, but also nature, right? There's still a large issue with the way that masculines treat feminine energy, even within themselves, right? So if you are, that's why I started off telling you that this was a personal balance, because without acknowledging our own masculine and feminine divinity within us, it's going to be very hard to find that balance outside of us. It is the process. But again, this is speaking to at this point in time, this planet is going through an evolutionary change. And we have, these are prophetic times. Ancient cultures and civilizations have talked about this. There's oral stories through indigenous lineages that talk about this time that we're experiencing. So I want you to remember that when you feel stuck, when you're getting so, allowing your mind to kind of go, I would say seek some water, okay? The moon, again, is about the depths, but it can also represent the shadow. So when you're doing your shadow work, when you're coming into consciousness, right, this evolution of your mind and of your spirit, right? We just talked about that. As you step into this high priestess energy, you're gonna have a lot of tower moments, all right? I've been through this process about 20 years, and to people outside of me, it's been scary. So scary that they've incarcerated me multiple times, tried to medicate my crazy out of me, right? There's a very fine line between crazy and brilliance, right? It's up to us to navigate that and figure out what it is for us. So finding that balance between the doing and the being, you know. Capitalism wants us to be in a toxic masculine energy, which we very much are, especially under this administration, especially, you know, there's certain archetype of men or masculine energies who are continuing to perpetrate these violent cycles, systems, right? So to combat that, we have to come together. We have to find our own balances. We have to be willing and ready to work with others who are like us, to initiate change, not only in our own lives, but in the lives of those around us. Remembering to continue centering justice. And when we are on that path, then what is meant for us will come in. But this is not about chasing it, and it's not about exerting your power or control over another. And I think that's something that this society, also really does, is it encourages that. Obviously, what we're seeing right now, that toxic masculines, even if they are in a woman's body, it's still toxic masculine energy to, do any of the atrocities that we're seeing. Anything. If you're talking about the United States, then it's, kidnapping people, breaking families apart, intruding on people's property, and taking them. I mean, there's a lot happening. If you're in Palestine, it's the continued bombing of, children, of, going after the most vulnerable, which is also happening everywhere. I think we need to really be honest with ourselves at this time about what's going on in the world, and I think that if you're not honest about what's going on in the world, if you're not awake to what's going on in the world, or if you are standing alongside of the oppressors in any capacity because of whatever beliefs that you've, long held beliefs, more than likely, beliefs that have been handed down through your family, whether it's religious tradition or some sort of supremacy or elitism. Recognizing how harmful that is for not only others, because that's pretty obvious, but also recognizing maybe you're not being affected by that, but recognizing how it's affecting you. I don't know if that makes sense. You might have to be a little bit more woke to grasp that one. But either way, today's reading is about finding that balance so that you can step into your stability on this realm and continue to ensure justice. Again, not only for you, but for those around you. And I think there's this acknowledgement of the interconnection of life. And again, that's where this nature comes in. This reconnecting to nature, magic. And if you don't believe in magic, go outside and witness nature. Allow the animals and the plants to speak to you. Allow the wind to move you, right? When you're in the shower, allow the water, really reconnecting with those elements. Each suit or house of the tarot is represented by an element, okay? So we have sword energy being elemental, and it's air energy. So again, the wind, right? Or just breathing. Earth energy is the pentacles, right? So it's not just about money or material stuff. In fact, it's not about that at all. It's about your connection with nature, right? And so kind of redefining what wealth is to you in understanding nature, right? Water is the cup energy, that's your emotions. So using water again, like in the shower as you're washing dishes, getting into a space of allowing that to be like a a ritual or a practice, especially in this season here in the northern hemisphere. Fall is about magic, right? It's this acknowledgement. We just had the harvest moon, so it's about this acknowledgement of like right now against society, because society is man-made, right? Nature in this season, fall and winter, is about falling back. It's about resting. It's about harvest. It's about acknowledging the hard work that you've put in your masculine energy for the year. And the winter and fall is more about practicing that femininity, nurturing, being. So maybe cozying up with a book, or, whatever it looks like for you. And fire, the element of fire is the wand energy that's spiritual. I finally bought myself another witch grill. I had a witch grill, but I lost it in one of our moves. And I finally just bought one at the Pisces full moon. And I used it for Aries full moon. And I've been doing a lot of work with fire. Fire usually scares me. But when I can control it and when I'm working with it. So I'm writing things down and burning them. And I'm collecting all the ash from that in this cute little jar. And I'm going to collect it for a year. I might need another jar at the end of the year. But you can use like bay leaves if you want, or Palo Santo. And you can start fires, right? Or you can write stuff down on note cards. But the bay leaves are good for helping to manifest like positive things. And when I release negative stuff using the element of fire, again, this doesn't have to be like nefarious practice by any means. That kid is going crazy. I just use note cards, write down shit on note cards, and then burn them. Mostly because they burn. The paper burns better than the other stuff. But I hope this helps. Again, it's about finding that balance. So find that balance, whatever it looks like for you. Don't look for it outside of yourself. At this time, I believe we're all being encouraged to remember that the spirit realm has their hands in this. And when you're feeling alone or isolated or distraught about the process, reach out to whatever it is you believe in. It doesn't matter if it has a different name than your neighbor. It doesn't matter if you use a different doctrine for that either. You believe what you believe, and that I believe you believe that, right? It's whatever. Everybody to each their own. But allow, there can't, because you have free will, it's a universal law that you can't, people or energies can't intervene unless you give them permission. And permission can look like a lot of things. But if you need support, call on what it is you believe. Maybe your passed on loved ones. If you have colonial lineage, be careful with that. You need to be doing decolonizing work and healing colonial lineage. I've put a lot of stuff over here for that. I'm going to stop talking now. But I think that the Two of Cups just flew out. It was at the bottom of the deck. And so it's like it came out as I was saying, if you feel isolated, call on what it is you believe. Maybe you have a good friend around you, or maybe you do have a lover or partner or something. But I feel like this I feel like this could be speaking to like this partnership between you and the spirit realm or your spirit team, or whatever it is you believe in, knowing that you're not alone ever, and also allowing, maybe that could be one of the prayers that you pray, or the things that you ask for, is like, when I get to a certain point where I have enough balance within myself, please bring in other people in my life who have similar paths or similar journeys, or it's like the same thing, or similar goals. Please surround me with my soul family, or if you're looking for a soulmate or your other half or whatever. But it's not really an other half thing, which is an interesting thing that I just said. It's more of like becoming whole within yourself so that you can attract others who have also done that work. Because let's keep it real, not a lot of people are doing this work. Okay, this is like a foreign language to a lot of people. So